It started on an ordinary Friday night, the kind of night where exhaustion makes silence heavier than usual. My husband Daniel had been quiet for days. We'd been married 8 years, and though we had our share of disagreements, this time the distance felt different, colder, sharper, and far more permanent. I thought maybe a little spark, a little daring could bridge the growing gap between us. I was wrong. Horribly wrong. Daniel had always been a man of principle. He liked things clear, honest, predictable. I used to find that stability comforting. But over the years, routine turned into dull repetition. We barely touched anymore, and when we did, it felt mechanical. Something done out of obligation, not desire. I missed how he used to look at me, how his eyes once carried hunger and warmth at the same time. A week before that Friday, a colleague of mine, someone I probably should have never talked to about my marriage, told me that sometimes couples just need to break boundaries to rediscover passion. Shock each other, she said, laughing. Surprise him. Push him a little. It sounded innocent then, like advice you'd find in a magazine column. I didn't realize how badly I'd interpret it. So that night, I tried something new. Something that, in hindsight, crossed not just a line, but a deep moral boundary that Daniel and I had never even needed to discuss before. When he walked into our bedroom, I was waiting for him. Candle light flickered against the walls, soft music played, and I had planned every detail. I thought he'd appreciate the effort, that maybe it would remind him of the woman he fell in love with. But when I revealed what I had in mind, when I invited him to participate in something he considered a betrayal, even in suggestion, I saw his expression change instantly from surprise to disgust, then to silence. He didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He just froze. The candles flickered against his pale face, and for a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then he turned, opened the door, and walked out. I called after him, tried to explain, but he wouldn't even glance back. The sound of the front door closing was sharper than any scream could have been. He slept in the guest room that night. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, realizing I had done something irreversible. I hadn't cheated, not in the traditional sense, but I had invited something foreign, something he saw as a violation of the sanctity we'd built together. I crossed a line he thought we both understood without ever needing to say aloud. The next morning, the house was painfully silent. He sat at the kitchen table staring at his coffee, eyes distant. I tried to speak to apologize, but he cut me off. "You knew that wasn't us," he said quietly. "You knew I'd never be okay with that." His voice wasn't angry. It was hollow, like the words were echoing through an empty space inside him. That scared me more than anything. "I just wanted to fix things," I whispered. "I wanted us to feel close again." He finally looked up, but the softness I'd always known was gone. "You don't fix something by breaking it further," he said. "What you did wasn't about closeness. It was about desperation. And you didn't think of me when you did it. You thought only about what you wanted to feel again." That conversation was the last time he truly spoke to me. Now it's been 2 weeks. He still lives in the house, but we exist like strangers. He avoids eye contact. He eats in silence. When I pass by him, he moves slightly aside, as if even standing too close would hurt him. The physical space between us feels like a canyon I dug myself. I replay that night constantly, wishing I could undo it, wishing I'd never listened to anyone but my own heart. Daniel used to say, trust wasn't just about not lying. It was about knowing that the other person would never deliberately make you uncomfortable, never push you where your soul refuses to go. And that's what I did. I pushed him. I violated something sacred, not through infidelity, but through disregard for his boundaries. Sometimes I hear him in the living room late at night, scrolling through old photos on his phone. I know because I can hear the faint sound of our laughter in the background. Recordings, memories from better years. I stand in the hallway, hidden, listening, wishing I could go back to when we were still us. But every time I think about walking in, about apologizing one more time, something inside me stops because now I understand he's not ready to hear me. Maybe he never will be. I crossed a forbidden line in a moment of recklessness. And in doing so, I shattered the quiet trust that held us together. Love doesn't just die in betrayal. Sometimes it dies in the slow realization that the person beside you stopped understanding you long before you noticed. Now he refuses to even look at me, not out of anger, but because looking at me reminds him of something lost. And I live every day with that silence. The heaviest kind of punishment, one I gave.